Welcome to part 6 of my build of the quarter-scale Jerry Bates Cessna 172 Skyhawk. This video is a slideshow with a voice-over of some pictures I took while building it. Day 31. The resin has had time to harden, and so I ripped the peel ply off the stab. I expected it to fight back, but it was much easier than I had anticipated. The texture was really nice. The weave of the peel ply material can be seen in the resin or glass fiber, but no pools of resin like I am used to. This will be very nice indeed. I have already put glass fiber resin and peel ply on the upper surface and look forward to sanding everything in the morning. I put steering arms on the servos in the wings. These are the flap servos. It needed a lot of mental gymnastics to put them in correctly because they both need to push and or pull at the same time, not opposite like the aileron servos. Day 32. I removed the assembly feet from on top of the ribs. I've not got the flap hinges yet, but did it anyway. I had to add some glass fiber to the leading edge of the stab, as I had not managed to overlap the glass cloths on the surface. Then I put some glass fiber and peel ply on one side of the vertical fin. Day 33. I'm covering the elevators with glass fiber, and there are two things different here. To begin with, I will be putting plastic ridges on the control surfaces. I will explain later. So I do not need the heavy glass fiber. I can use the 25 gram per square meter instead of the 48 gram per square meter. The other thing I do is because the peel ply has crumpled quite a lot, because it was folded and put in a box for postage. I experimented with ironing these crumples at a low setting, and they went away. Here we have the elevators covered in glass fiber and peel ply. I then made up two plywood plates, one for the receiver and another for the switches. Day 34. Work goes on putting glass fiber on the control surfaces of the tail. In the meantime, I decided to make and glue on the control horns on the rudder. I found a small piece of G10, a 1.5mm thick plate of pressed glass fiber used in electronics, computers and so on. On this, I drew the horn shown on the plans. I then used my Proxxon handheld grinder with a cutting wheel to cut out the control horn. The holes were drilled with a 1.5mm drill bit. I then made a slot in the rudder that will take the horn. It was glued in with epoxy glue. Day 35. I sprayed some filler primer on the stabilizer yesterday, and now I came in and sanded it nearly all away. There were a few dings in the stab that needed filling. I used Motip finishing putty, but my tube is nearly finished, and for some reason they've stopped selling it in Iceland. This happens a lot. I find some product I like and they stop selling it. Why? The filler dries extremely fast, and here I have sanded it down. Now it only needs a thin coat of primer and some sanding with P400 paper for the stab to be ready. Day 36. I decided to make a new main landing gear because the one I made according to the plan is, of course, too small. I drew up the gear according to the measurements given on the plan, changing imperial to metric on the fly. My math skills are phenomenal. And this gives me a gear that is more than 1 centimetre longer. But first I have to get rid of the old one. I cut through the balsa where the gear is and made sure the cutout is 6 millimetre wider on both sides, front and back. I made up 6 millimetre thick walls in front of and behind the gear. These I sanded down and then placed a block of balsa between them. This I will form to the contours of the belly of the model once I have made up the new gear.